American businesses and the U.S. government have recently been the target of cyber attacks, and rather than wait to be attacked, Texas is taking matters into its own hands. Just last night, the state Senate passed the Lone Star Infrastructure Protection Act. By a unanimous vote, the new bill is designed to stop certain countries from compromising its critical infrastructure. Joining us now is Kyle Bass, founder and chief investment officer of Heyman Capital Management, who testified before the state Senate on this issue, and Republican State Senator Donna Campbell, who sponsored the bill. Senator, I want to get to what's in the bill in a second, but I just want to initially start with something that we've discussed with Kyle before. Kyle, I would, if I didn't know this to be true, I might talk to Netflix about a series based on this gentleman and some of his, we've talked about it before, some of what he's been doing in Texas in terms of wind energy. Can you go into that? He's a former officer in the Chinese People's Liberation Army, and he owns a lot of land in Texas, businesses, including windmills, wind farms, where in your view, it's like the worst place in Texas to even have a wind farm, and he's connected to all the infrastructure, or his companies are, and you've raised that red flag before. Could you go into that, Kyle?
Sure. I mean, so first of all, thanks for having me on, Joe, and hello, Senator Campbell. I think, Joe, as we sit here today, we know, whether you're listening to the Director of National Intelligence or the State Department or the Director of the FBI, we know that China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea are not our friends, and they are here to potentially inflict pain on us through various means of cyber attack and other attacks on our country. And here we have a general from Xinjiang, which is the actual region where the genocide's happening, and his company form a company in America, and they buy up almost 200 square miles of land between an Air Force base and our border, and are plugging directly into our electrical grid. I mean, like you say, Joe, it's almost like, how can this possibly be in today's day and age? But I'm telling you, it's happening. And the good news is Senator Campbell decided to kind of grab this bull by the horns and lead the United States with a Texas bill.
So, Senator, the bill itself that we're talking about is a little bit more generic, more than one. It's not just China that you're talking about, and in general terms, right, talking about protecting Texas infrastructure. But do you look at this particular situation, and in your view, is it a clear and present danger that Kyle's describing for Texas infrastructure, and the bill would at least raise the awareness in that state?
Thank you for having me, Joe. Yes, Kyle is right on target. You know, this project initially was looked at more of like, why this unusually tall wind farm? What's going on with that? Why 700-foot tall wind farm towers in a place, as Kyle said, where the wind doesn't really blow? 65 miles from a strategic Air Force base, and it's close to our border. Why a 10,000-foot runway? What's the purpose for that? And when you start looking into it a little bit more, asking all these questions, it looks more like a Trojan horse, where if hostile countries invaded our infrastructure, it could be catastrophic. So this bill protects Texas critical infrastructure, our vital military capabilities, our economy, and just the safety of Texans. This critical infrastructure includes communications, cybersecurity, our electric grid, hazardous waste, our water systems. Even as you all described, the latest threat assessment that was by ODNI that outlines China, Iran, North Korea, and Russia, as yes, thank you, Kyle, demonstrated capability and an intent to advance their interests at the expense, even in spite of a pandemic, at our expense. And even Secretary of State Blinken has been vocal on this matter. And other states need to assess enterprises within their own state for possible threats to our national security.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.